if there was some buy-in by other races of people, like what you said you want to do, what can I get out of it? If they know they can get a connection out of the, just like this platform that you're on today. If I was a white man, I feel like they get a better understanding of white. Even if it's a white person watching this now, maybe they get a better understanding of black people or how black men see the world.
100%. Exactly. I mean, and that's
Yeah,
all I'm trying to offer is perspective,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And,
perspective.
and ultimately, right? Like, I mean, there's only so much we could do, right? People have to be
Mm-hmm.
curious and want to learn, right? And
Mm-hmm.
have an interest in the truth. You know, a lot of people, for them, truth is not a value. What's true or not true doesn't matter to them, right? What's right or wrong doesn't matter to them. But I'm targeting those people who, like you said, are walking around in ignorance. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people like that, you know,
Yeah.
who are just walking around. They know the bare minimum about this subject matter. They haven't done any self reflection about it, because where would they do that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so all we could do is create the environment where that self-reflection can occur. Whether it's them watching our conversation right now and being like, that's making me interested to ask questions or to research
Mm-hmm.
something or whatever, which a lot of people give me feedback about these conversations. They're like, oh, it made me look this up, or it made me think about this, or whatever, you know, or this is the conversation you had was one that I would want to have with my friends, you know, or whatever
Uh-huh.
else, you know, inspires people to educate themselves more, to investigate more. And my hope is that these live events that I'm going to be hosting is going to spark people's curiosity, not just
Mm-hmm.
about the subject matter itself, but about what life could be like. What are the
Mm-hmm.
possibilities for life if they take on a value of anti-racism? You know,
Mm-hmm.
something that most people I don't think have considered, because
Yes.
we're not encouraged to consider it. We're encouraged to accept what we have, to be grateful for what we have, because we're in the greatest country in the world, you know, and we're the most
Right.
exceptional people, right? Like, if you're not grateful
Mm-hmm.
for that and you're looking for something else, then, oh, you're doing something wrong, right?
That's
So,
true.
yeah, I just want to do my part to at least start people down a path to reverse that kind of thinking and think that, hey, like, our values of America, the stated values in our Constitution and our, our Bill of Rights, you know, these are aspirational. They always were aspirational. They weren't something
Yeah.
that has ever existed in some
Right.
kind of pure form in the country. Why would we
Mm-hmm.
give up that aspiration? You know, um, we've only seen good things come out of aspiring for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everybody here.
Right.
And we've only given us a sliver of that. You know, we've only actualized a very small allowance of freedom, a very small allowance of life, a very small allowance of the pursuit of happiness.
Well, let me make a comment on that. About the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and things like that. And all those promises that were made, all those hundreds of years ago. I believe since we are a capitalist country, that the only road to that would be up to uproot everything that was put here in the beginning. That means destroying. That means remaking a constitution or uprooting. Uh, these ideologies, because those were built into. I feel like those were built into the Constitution, but it didn't mean black people at all. It meant white men. Not even women were included in that. It was just white men. White rich white men actually. But I think it's gonna have to, like, I think we were talking about roots earlier. Killing something at the root of it, and might mean going in the White House and reconstructing. I'm not saying, oh, we're gonna have are not anarchy and
No, no,
overthrow
no.
the
I know.
government.
I hear what you're saying,
I'm not saying that,
I
but
totally agree with you.
but draining the swamp, as they say, all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I think reworking the Constitution is a completely legitimate point of view at this point in
yeah.
time. But I guess all I'm trying to say is there are, if the Constitution was not rooted in white supremacy, it would be a very valuable tool. The fact that it is, like you're saying, makes it a weapon, basically against us, all of us. And so, yeah, I agree that we need to rework it. I think that we need to focus more on grassroots efforts because ultimately, reworking the Constitution is not going to come from the top down. That's never going to
Yeah,
happen. And
I
so,
agree.
like, ultimately, we have to force it to happen. And I think the only way we could do that is start just person by person, getting people, like you said, aware of the situation, aware of the mythology, aware of how it's already impacted them, getting them to reject that impact, getting them to take on an imagination of a new way of being. That process for enough individuals has to happen in order for anything to change. And
Yeah.
so I think that we want these grandiose things. We want to transform the White House. Republicans want to storm the White House. Like people
Hmm.
people want to do all these things, but ultimately we need to focus on our own social circles and our local environments. That's where it
Hmm.
starts. It starts
That's
with
right.
you, your family, your friends, your workplace, and your communities, and we start there. And if
Mhm.
enough of us can make an impact within those communities, that is when the greater movement is going to come into being. But it's not going to start because someone comes, from the heavens, comes on down a staircase or something. It's like, okay, I'm here to lead you into the promised land or
Yeah.
something. Like that is not
No,
a thing that's going to happen, you know?
I agree. You have to do it a different way today. I think a lot of people are looking for a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X, but it's going to come from you, your person, uh, your circle. It starts with you.
Yeah. And maybe those
If you
people
can
will emerge, right?
decolonize your mindset, you can decolonize your family, your whole mindset, and then they can spread it. And that's the only
Precisely.
way. Um,
It has to
because
be
we
done
all.
that way. It's got to
That's
be
right.
grassroots. It's got to be
Yeah.
grassroots. Just people like me and you, ordinary Joes, doing the work.
Yeah.
And especially within our own racialized Black community, it's critical work to educate people about race. And I'm definitely going to be targeting, as many different Black communities as I can when I do my live events,
Hmm.
because I want to make sure that the racialized Black youth are at least exposed to the evils of white supremacy and what they may face in the world. I was totally ignorant of it, and when I started facing things, out in the world, I would reject the idea that they had to do because of my race, because that's what I was taught to do. I was
Hmm.
taught to not let race matter, right? Whether
Hmm.
it did or not. I was taught not to let it matter. And that's what I did. I tried to just say, oh, well, just on to the next one. Because I was taught that as long as I continue doing good work, that is what would dictate my outcomes. It was not
Sure.
true. It was not true. And eventually I had to accept that. But it took a long time. It took a lot of people stepping in my way, a lot of microaggressions, a lot of opportunities lost, a lot of money lost, a lot of things to occur before I was like, okay,
Hmm.
obviously this isn't like just a few people as I was taught to believe, but this is
Hmm.
more systemic because every avenue that I turn to, I'm getting stopped by a racialized white person.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's kind of what my experience was like. But I don't want people to go through that. I don't want them to go through what I went through to learn the hard way. I want people to have an opportunity to accept anti-racism as a value for their life without having to lose money, to lose time, to lose opportunities. And so, yeah, that's really my goal, is to just free as many people as I can. And, if I get more money and power, then maybe I'll go even further than that.
Yeah, and I think that's a great purpose and great idea.
Thanks, brother.
Uh,
I think the work that you're
yeah,
doing is amazing as well. And,
appreciate that.
um, yeah, keep on educating those people, and and for your coworker and your boss and whatnot. What I'll say about that is try to encourage them to reflect upon the foundation of their own ideas when you're
Mm,
talking. You know, you can't you can't convince these people out of their ideology without they have to do it themselves. So
mhm.
try to take a tactic of helping them self-reflect rather than trying to destroy their mythology directly, because it doesn't work, like, in general.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.